Hi, welcome to Glow's Kindred Kitchen, and I'm Glow. Today we're going to be making some refrigerated rolls, and they're called fluffy, no-knead refrigerator rolls. And they are so easy to make, and so let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is I have taken and brought this to a boil. It's 1 cup of water. I'm going to put it right here in my bowl. And then to that, I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of salt, and I always use iodized for this, and this is sea salt. If you don't have a real level hand, don't do it over the bowl. I had a little bit too much here, so I'm just going to take a little out. So I'm just going to add that to my water. And then what I'm going to do is I have 1 cup of shortening, like Crisco. And I'm going to go, this is the most clever little thing. I got it from Pampered Chef years ago, and it's like a plunger. And it has for dry ingredients as well as for wet. So this is considered like a dry ingredient. You just pull this plunger down to the 1 cup mark, and then you fill it up. So, and see how easy that is? Just goes right in.
It's pretty easy, Miss Glow.
And I have a spatula here to just scrape it right off. See how easy that is? And then also we're going to be putting in a 1/2 cup of sugar. And all we have to do is just blend it and try and get the shortening to start to melt a little in here. It doesn't have to completely melt though. Let's be working with flour as well to get that in there good. Just trying to get that shortening out of my whisk here. There we go. So I'm going to just let that set there. And I'm going to move this over to here while we do the flour. And I went ahead and it calls for you to sift your flour. So I put in 5 cups already in here that I measured. And I'll show you again how I always measure flour or sugar when I'm putting it in a measuring cup. When you put it in, always tap along the side, because if you don't, you'll have air pockets quite often in there, and then you don't have an accurate measure. So I'm going to go ahead and add this last cup of flour to here. That's 6 cups of flour total. And then you just sift. This sifter I've had for years. It's very handy. And when a recipe says to sift, please do that, because there's a reason for it. They want air to be incorporated into your flour to make your, whatever you're baking, to be lighter. And this is regular all-purpose flour. It's not the self-rising flour. You would not want that in this particular recipe because we're going to be adding yeast to it. There, and I'm going to show you, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but see those pieces of flour that are in there still? They're like little clumps. We don't want that in there. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this over to my counter by my sink and get rid of that. And then the next thing what we want to do is we're going to put in 2 packets of yeast. I really like this platinum red yeast, or red star yeast. One of the reasons I like it so much is you add it directly to your flour, not to your wet ingredients. And I'm going to just take my wooden spoon and just mix that yeast up into this flour lightly. There, that should be enough. So I'm going to just move a couple of things out of the way so we have a little bit more room. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be bringing back over to us the water and the sugar and the salt and the shortening. And the next thing we're going to do, and that shortening's melting a little but not a lot, and that's fine, is we're going to add 2 eggs to this water and shortening mixture. I always tap my eggs on the counter and not on the edge of my bowl. There we go. We'll just put those over here too because we're done with that. And we're going to need to whisk these up. I'm going to add that to this. And that water's cooled off enough now that I could add the egg directly to that. If it wasn't, then you'd have some cooked eggs before you would want them cooked. And then we're going to add 1 more cup of hot water. Just kind of stir this all together. Just to kind of get it incorporated a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to just put that over there. Now all we got to do is add the flour to this mixture. We're going to be adding it slowly to incorporate. And we're just going to start stirring. And I usually use a wooden spoon for this. Reason being, a wooden spoon is very sturdy and it helps to incorporate everything really well. You can just use your measuring cup that you had for the flour and just add more. I'm not sure if you had watched my last video about when I was doing the no-knead bread. This is the same bowl. I use this a lot for this kind of stuff. What I'm doing is I'm just mixing up the shortening and the flour into this really good before I add more. It's just easier. And tomorrow when we bake this, you could make this into any shape you want. You could have it in just square rolls and put it like a 9x13 pan and cook it. You could do it in muffin tins and do like clover rolls. Many different ways that you could do it. So tomorrow we'll decide which way we're going to do it. Well, always like the smell of the yeast and the flour as I'm doing this. It brings back memories of when I was a child and helping out in the kitchen with my grandmother and my mom. We'd make bread together. And I had an great Aunt Carrie that loved to bake bread. And I recall walking up the sidewalk to their home, and you could smell her bread baking in the oven. She usually made potato bread, if I recall correctly. It was delicious. But you can see how this is starting to thicken up. The shortening's starting to get incorporated in here along with the flour. We're almost done. One of the nice things about this recipe too is, like, for the holidays, you can make this up like even 2 days in advance and have it in the refrigerator, so that the day that you're going to have everybody over for dinner, you can just pull it out and make your rolls up and let them rise while you're finishing up stuff. And this bread dough is a little sticky, so don't be alarmed when you're doing it. You're thinking that you're doing something wrong. You're not. And tomorrow when we take this out, we'll put it on a floured surface to help with the stickiness. You can see how it's really coming together now. It's a good workout. I think people in the olden days, they didn't exercise like we do, but they exercised a lot with all their housework and chores and everything. They were farmers. They did a lot of heavy work. That's coming together really nice. Oh, it smells so good. How it is when you walk into a home that they're baking bread in the oven, or if you walk into a bakery, and it just smells so good. So anyway, I'm going to show you what it looks like.
Looks good, Miss Chloe.
So now I'm just going to take my little scraper and clean off my spoon. Kind of nestle it down in there. And this will rise overnight in the refrigerator. There we go. So I'm going to move this over here. And I went ahead and I just took a little bit of that Pam spray, cooking spray. I have the butter kind, and I sprayed my lid so that when this rises, if it does get up to the top, that will help it prevent from sticking. So now all I have to do is close up this lid, and we're ready to go to the refrigerator till tomorrow. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Hi, welcome back. Well, as you can tell, I've got all 12 of my rolls in here, and then I let them rise for a half an hour in a warm place. So what I did is I took a cup of water and boiled it in my microwave. Took that out and then just set this in there, covered with a tea towel. And this is actually too big for my microwave, so my door was open just a little, but you can tell how nicely they rose. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little butter and just put it across them. And they smell so good already, and they haven't even been in the oven.
They do smell good, Miss Chloe.
So, and I just melted this butter in the microwave. And you just dab it on or brush it on very lightly. In this recipe also you could add herbs to it or whatever you wanted when you were making it, just as a, you know, a change, depending on what you were going to have for dinner. There, does that look good, Richard?
Looks great. Can't wait till they're done. Now, how
All
long
right.
will that take, Miss Chloe?
This is going to take between 20 and 25 minutes, and I preheated my oven to 425 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here, and I'll see you back in 20 to 25 minutes, and you guys can see what they look like. Bye. Hi, well, welcome back. These rolls actually didn't take as long as I thought they would, and I'm not really sure why. I preheated my oven. It was very hot when I put it in, and maybe the stone had something to do with it too, because stones do help your baking. So anyway, we just pulled these out, and I'm just gonna take that and show you what it looks like. And I'm gonna put a little butter on the top.
Delicious. Lucy'd like one too. Don't drop it on the floor though.
Won't those look good? We're going to be having these for dinner tonight, along with our dinner.
Yep, for sure.
So you guys could easily do this and have a really nice dinner as well.
Or a nice snack.
Yeah. And I did let these, rise, like I said before, for about a half an hour after I put them in the stone. But there we go.
Looks good.
So I'm going to go ahead and take one out. I'll just break it open so you guys can see. Look how nice that is. I think it's a little too hot to eat right now, but I can't wait to taste it.
It does look good.
So thank you for coming, you guys. I really appreciate it. And let me know how you enjoyed this when you make it. And if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye.